My name is Grace Taylor, if y'all don't know that, and I got my 200 hours in Bali last August, and so that's what I'm doing here. We're just going to do a light power flow. I'm going to have some music here. Please drop in the comments if the music is too loud, but other than that, let's get started. You don't really need anything besides a towel if you want and some water if you'd like it. But yeah, we'll get started on a mat. We're going to start, and my dog is joining us. We're going to start in child's pose, and there are two variations for this pose. You can either keep your knees together and fold over your thighs so that your belly rests on your thighs, and that will target more of the lower back. And then the other option is to keep your knees apart and then go put your torso in between your knees and just keep going on forward down and yeah, go into child's pose. And we'll stay there for a minute. And if you put your forehead on the ground, then you trigger your central nervous system to calm down, and everything is happy dandies. We're going to start by walking our hands on over to the right side, placing our right hand over our left in order to target our left side body, moving our left hip into our left heel in order to really stretch that side body out. And we'll come on back through center and go onto the left side. And we'll stretch our right side body now, right hip going to right heel, and just trying to lean into that side body, trying to torque your abdominals so that you can really feel it in the right side body. Going back through center now, we're just going to put our elbows on the ground and bring our hands into prayer position and bring those thumbs as close to the center of our upper back as possible. Really trying to push that abdominal as close to the ground as possible in order to get a stretch in the upper arms. And letting those hands come forward now, placing our hands on the ground, coming to a tabletop so that your hips are over your knees and your shoulders are over your palms or wrists. And just start to come up with some motion that feels good for your body. And on an inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the hips and the chin upwards, and exhale, invert. Belly button comes to spine, spine goes to ceiling. And just doing a couple repetitions, we'll say 3 of each to the own rhythm of your breath. Really trying to listen into our body, create rhythm with our breath. And then after the third repetition of both, you're just going to walk your hands on forward so that your hips stay exactly where they are, but your chest comes closer to the ground, puppy pose. And straightening out the back. Exhale, bring the chest back to the ground, or close to. Inhale, back up, straightening the spine. Exhale, finding that curvature, trying to create a bend. And inhale, placing those palms just a little bit closer to your elbows now. We're going to tuck the back toes and lift the hips up and back to find our first downward dog. For me as a yoga teacher, the most important part of a downward dog is the back, so you want to keep those knees bent so you can really find a nice curvature in the back, maybe bringing your feet a little bit further apart than you would otherwise in order to create space in the hips so that the back can really start to arch. And create some mobility in the spine. And what I really like to do is create some waves in the body. So just doing what feels good to you, maybe staying exactly where you are, not finding any motion at all, or maybe playing around with what your body can offer you for today. And we're going to bring those knees on back down to the ground, tabletop. Inhale, cat, exhale, no, cow, exhale, cat, sorry guys. And tucking the back toes, bringing it up into a downward dog once more. Really grounding every part of the palm and the fingers, the pads, the knuckles, right into the ground. And maybe starting to pedal out those legs, bending one, straightening the other, shifting hips from side to side. Sometimes if my hips are extra cracky, I just lift one leg slightly. And sometimes I get some good cracks, some good release. And we're going to take some slow steps up with both our feet and our hands so that our toes and our fingertips are close together. And we're just going to keep a healthy bend in the knees, grabbing onto opposite elbows, keeping your feet hips width apart or wider, and just start to hang in a ragdoll. I'm a very motion-oriented person and like to keep my poses very mobile, so feel free to do so or feel free to just stay in the pose as you feel. Okay, let those hands go. Toe heel your toes just a little bit further together, maybe two fists apart. And we're going to straighten those knees, bring our hands to either our shins or our quads, not our knees, and we're going to roll our shoulders up, back, together, and down to create a flat spine. And once you feel you've held that pose long enough for a little bit of muscle memory to sink in, you can let that go, bend the knees, and bring the crown of the head in the direction of the ground, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Letting those hands dangle now, maybe finding a subtle bend in the knees before we prepare for our next pose. And we're going to minding each vertebrae, coming up in your own pace to a mountain pose at the front of your mat. So we're here in a mountain pose, and I'll just go over posture a little bit. You want a micro bend in your knees so that you're not hyperextending, and you want your hips kind of a little bit more tucked than you would expect, but nothing so that you're creating any sort of compression in the lower back. And coming back up, we want our hips and our ribs tightened together in order to engage the abdominal. And we want our shoulders over our hips. Shoulders roll up, back, down, and together, flat spine with halfway lift. And palms facing forward. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, connecting with that breath once again. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands come through heart center and down into a forward fold once more. Sorry, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, planting the hands, coming back into a downward dog once more, just to get a pulse check, see how the pose has changed over these few minutes, if it's changed at all. All right. Inhale, lifting the right leg. Exhale, bending it and sweeping it through to frame in between your hands. And we're just going to kind of bend into the hips here. Maybe moving back and forth, but you never want your knee to go over your toes, so playing with distances between your feet. And maybe bringing those toes just a little bit forward. Inhaling to prepare, exhale to ground. Inhale, crescent lunge. Similarly to our mountain pose, we want our shoulders over our hips, and that might inspire a slight bend in the back knee. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And we're going to elongate our hands so that we get a bit of a twist. So right foot forward, left hand forward. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, opening up into warrior two. Arms are strong. There's a strong connection from shoulder to shoulder, fingertip to fingertip. And you want to also make sure that your shoulders are over your hips. Your back foot is at a 90-degree angle. Your front foot is facing forward, and your knee and your toes are tracking in the same direction. Secondarily, you want to open up the hips, but your knee is your first priority. You want to preserve those joints. And inhale to prepare. Exhale to ground. Inhale, someone's grabbing your front hand and pulling it on forward. And exhale, drop that front arm once you start to feel a crunch in your right side body. Left arm comes up. Sometimes I like to draw a nice little line so that I know everything is straight and my shoulders are opening up to the ceiling. Exhaling all stale air out of your lungs. Inhaling back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. It's okay to feel a crunch in your side body this time because it's a bit of a back bend. But you want to recommit to that front bend, and you want to make sure that your knee is tracking in the same direction as your toes. And just a little bit further. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hands cartwheel onto the ground, framing your front foot. Front foot lifts up, goes back, and we're going to prepare for our flow. So with your shoulders slightly in front of your wrists, your toes kind of pointed, and your abs engaged and hollowed, you can either find knees, chest, chin, or straight line down to chaturanga. If you did knees, chest, chin, stay into a baby cobra. If you decided to do a full plank, you can go into downward or upward facing dog, where your toes are engaged so that your thighs do not touch the ground, and maybe a little bit of a back bend, and exhale to find a downward dog. Good job, guys. We're going to do the same thing on the left side in a couple breaths. Exhale, ridding all the stale air from your lungs. Inhale, lifting that left leg up, bending the knee and sweeping it through to the center of your hands. Again, bending into that hip, playing with space between each foot. And really just trying to feel into that hip, give it a little bit extra love, create some extra space. We'll need it later. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to ground. And inhale, crescent lunge. Whoops. Something I didn't say earlier is that you want your hips both hip bones facing in the same direction. Again, minding the shoulders over the hips, which might inspire a bend in the back leg, which is perfectly fine. Inhale, hands come over heart center. Exhale, come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, hands come up, and exhale, twist Right arm comes forward, left leg is forward. Inhale back through center. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, moving into our warrior two. I'm gonna change, you guys don't have to move at all. Again, coming with our feet in a 90-degree angle. The front one at a 0-degree angle, I guess, relatively. One is perpendicular to the other. You wanna make sure that your knee and your toes are in the same direction. Knee does not come over toes. And with our arms, you want a strong connection between shoulder to shoulder, shoulders over hips, and energy pouring out of each finger. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to ground. Inhale, someone grabs onto those front fingertips and pulls you forward, hips shift. And as soon as you feel a crunch in that side body, you'll drop that arm into our extended side angle. Again, making sure that your shoulders are open. This is also an abdominal twist. I'm going to recommit to that front bend. Exhale, running all stale air from your lungs. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Your hand can go anywhere but your knee. Recommitting to that front bend. And back through center. Hands cartwheel down to the ground. And lifting that front leg, coming back and going through your flow. Knees, chest, chin, chaturanga, cobra, upward dog, respectively. And meeting in downward dog. Inhale, bending the knees. Exhale, preparing. Inhale, gaze goes in between hands. Exhale, bend even further. And on an inhale, jumping up to find a forward fold. Jumping or stepping, either one's good. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, knees bend, chair pose, arm shoots up. And you want to mind the hips so that they're not tooched, but they're also not super rounded and you're getting some weird stuff in your belly. Natural curvature in the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, planting the hands, moving the feet back into a plank and moving the hips up and back into a downward dog. And we're going to flow through the variation that we just did on the other side. Y'all stay exactly where you are. I'm going to move really quickly. Inhale, lifting the right leg up. Exhale, planting it in between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, moving into a warrior two. Extended side angle. Exhale. Inhale to stay. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back through center, and exhale, planting your hands in the ground and going through your flow. Meeting in downward dog whenever you're done. Great job, guys. I'm going to move once more. Y'all stay exactly where you are. Inhale, lifting the left leg up. Exhale, planting it in between the hands. Inhale, back through crescent lunge. Exhale, coming to a twist. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to stay. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, windmill your hands onto the ground. Bring that front foot lifts up and go through your flow. Exhale to find a downward dog whenever that feels right. And we're going to prepare once more. Bending the knees, shifting the gaze in between the hands, and hop, step, or floating to a downward, or not a downward dog, a halfway lift. Forward fold, that's what I meant. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come up, chair pose. Exhale, hands come through center. Bend, recommitting just a little bit to that bend, shifting the hips just a little bit backwards, making sure that you can still see your toes. And on an exhale, shifting that left elbow to hook onto the right, and moving that left foot back to find a revolved, or a twisty crescent. A prayer twisty crescent, I don't know what it's called. All right, inhale, finding that twist as we found earlier, and exhale, exalted crescent. Placing the hand anywhere except for the knee. So right hand goes onto left leg, left hand comes up and aids in that backward bend. Inhale back through twist. Inhale to find center. Sorry guys. Sorry. And we're in crescent. Taking a couple moments here, finding like a pointed with a little thing. Just doing a little bit of a back bend, but you want no pain, no compression in the lower back, just something to lubricate the spine a little bit. Inhale, back up through center, coming a little bit forward so that your belly does not rest on your thigh, but it's in the vicinity, and we're going to shift those hands back and together as if you're holding on to something. Staying here just for a moment, maybe finding some pulses, and inhale back through crescent. And exhale, planting the hands in the ground. Inhale, lifting that front leg up to meet the back, and going through your flow. Leading in downward dog. You were far away. Inhale, bending the knees, shifting the gaze forward. Exhale, step, hop, or float to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. We know the drill. Exhale, hands come through heart center. This time our right elbow is going to hook onto our left leg. Right leg lifts up and comes back into a crescent, revolvey, prayer, twisty thing. And inhale to find the twist. Exhale, exalted crescent. And I just watched you. And back through center to find our crescent. Coming together with a little pointy finger thing. We're going to find a little bit of a back bend. And back through center. Shifting on forward so that the stomach is hovering right above the thigh. And bringing those hands behind you as if you're holding a block or something. And inhale back to crescent. Exhale, frame the foot. Left foot comes to meet right, and going through your flow. If your flow stops serving you at any point, you're more than welcome to skip it and just go to downward dog. We're going to lift our right hand, place it onto our left ankle, just for a bit of an abdominal twist. And place that hand back at downward dog. Opposite side now. Back through downward dog. You know it. Bending the knee and shifting the gaze forward. Coming to a forward fold in whatever way serves you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come all the way up to a mountain pose. And we're going to shift our weight onto our left foot. Moving our right foot up, finding a 90-degree in 3 places, the hip, the knee, and the ankle. And we're just going to be testing out our balance here. Figuring out where we are for today. Nami, get out of there. All right, and bring our hands back to prayer position. Coming through a warrior 3 just for a moment. And placing that foot back about 2 to 3 feet behind the left. We're gonna, if you need any help, you can always grab a pillow or just put your hands anywhere besides your knee. And rounding your spine so that your nose comes in the direction of your knee. You also want your hip bones facing in the same direction. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. We're gonna walk our hands so that they're in the center of our feet, and both feet are now gonna be facing in the direction of our hips. Here we're just gonna be finding some motion, creating some space as we prepare to do other poses. Bring the crown of our head in the direction of the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Left hand places right directly underneath the nose. Right arm comes up. And my hips are going to move. I really want to make this a twist, opening up as much in the body as possible. If you feel like you want to go for the half bind, you can always go for the right arm can go for the left hip crease to use that torque to open up your shoulders even more. Don't allow your mind to box you in. You can always try something and then let it go. Making sure you have a micro bend in those knees. Inhale, left hand comes up, right hand comes up. Sorry there. And you can place those hands. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. And finding a similar variation if it's accessible to you on this side. And inhale, left arm comes up, left arm meets right, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. I'm shifting my hips from side to side just to get a little bit more openness, but you're always welcome to keep this pose very stationary, any pose very stationary. Yoga is much less about aesthetics and much more about listening to the body, and that's what we're always in practice and service of. Inhale, halfway lift, shifting those feet to face forward and the hands follow suit. We're going to bend the front knee. Inhale, bending the front knee. Exhale, preparing to launch forward and finding an L thing in the legs. You want to make sure you have a micro bend in the front and the leg that's down. And bending that right knee and placing it onto the left, next to the left. And we're going to come into a forward fold once again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming into our mountain pose to do the same thing on the left now. Inhale, hands come over to top of the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Once more, inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, hands come out to the side, shifting our weight onto our right foot now, and finding a 90-degree angle in 3 places in our leg, the hips, the knee, and the ankle. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, and shifting that leg back into a quick warrior 3, and dropping that foot around 2 to 3 feet behind the right, making sure your hip bones are facing in the same direction forward. And we're just going to exhale and bring our nose in the direction of our knee, rounding the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine, and shifting those feet to face the direction of your hips. Inhale, halfway lift, creating a sort of anchor in your lower belly, shifting your hands forward or keeping them at heart center, and finding some pulses, just 3 to 4 inches up and down. Keeping a micro bend in those knees, and letting that go, forward fold. Crown of the head goes in the direction of the ground. We're going to heel toe our feet a little bit further apart, and also with the knowledge that we're going to play with feet space as we go through this, we're going to find some spider lunges. You all stay exactly where you are. So start just by bending one leg, straightening the other, and eventually just getting lower and lower. This is not about aesthetic. Again, and coming back through center, finding a flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. If you're in the practice of headstands, now would be a good time to do so. If you're not a headstand person, just going through, listening to the spine, listening to the hips, playing with spatial differentials between the toes and the heels. I'm going to try to work on my forward fold as you all have some playtime. If you're in a headstand, with as much control as accessible to you, bringing those feet back onto the ground and inverting your inversion. Double negative. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, shifting so that you're framing the front foot again. Front foot lifts up and meets with the back. And we'll go through our flow. Exhale, downward dog. Here we're going to work on some shoulder strength and our dolphin pose. So for this, you want to make sure that your elbows and your wrists are in line. And you want to make sure that you're paying special attention to the back, so I would recommend keeping a bend in that knee. You're going to bend your elbow as close to the ground as it comes. And inhale back to downward dog, minding again the spine. So drop that down. And downward dog. Dolphin. Downward dog. Dolphin. Downward dog. dolphin. And here we're just going to, if it's accessible to you, placing your forearms completely on the ground and just shifting those feet a little bit forward so that your hips step over your shoulder as much as accessible. Just getting used to this really awkward pose, creating some muscle memory, opening up some space, and back into downward dog. We're gonna walk our feet up to a forward fold, and we're gonna go through a squatting sequence. So inhale, halfway lift. We've been here before. Exhale, bending the legs, the knees, and finding a garland's pose. And here we're just taking a pulse check with our knees, our joints, our hips, our ankles, and finding the right space between our feet that makes all of those things happy while creating a slight stretch. And once you've got that, you can exhale, straightening the legs just a little bit, and crown comes to the floor for a forward fold, well, in the direction of the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, straightening the legs. Exhale, bending, hips come down. Inhale. And exhale, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, garland's pose. Inhale. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, garland's pose. Inhale to stay. Exhale for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting the hands on the ground, coming to a slight bend in the knees. And here we're going to try a little bit of a crow pose, or you can choose to not do any of this and just go into a water break pose. So here we're going to come onto our toes. We're going to have the entirety of our hands planted on the ground. You really want to make sure that you get your knuckles in there too. There's a lot of strength in your knuckles. And then coming onto our tippy toes and bringing our knees as close to our elbows as our body allows for. And then just shifting forward, practicing that a little bit. Just shifting forward, knowing your body will catch you. Shifting forward, lifting one leg, planting that down, lifting the other, practicing that a little bit, and eventually coming to fly maybe. And if you're practiced, you can go shoot straight back into a plank, and if not, you can just not do that. And meeting in a downward dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg. Exhale, planting it between the palms. Inhale to find a flat back. Exhale to round the spine. Inhale, flat back. Coming to a triangle pose where we find a similar bottom half of our body as we did in Warrior 2. Back foot is at a 90-degree, front foot is at a 0-degree, respectively. They're perpendicular to one another. And we're going to shift our hips backward and forward just to create a little bit of space. And shooting our hands out to the side, creating that same strength with the shoulders directly over the hips, the hip bones and the ribs crunching together to create a natural curvature in the spine, engaging the abdominals. And shifting those hips back, that front foot hand forward. You're going to keep going until you find a crunch in the body, in the right side body. And then you're just going to open into an extended side angle triangle pose. And inhale back through center. Exhale, shifting that front foot forward. Exhale, reverse triangle with your hands placed anywhere except for your, oh my gosh. Sorry, I think I just saw a beaver. Okay, back through center. That's great, sorry guys. And we're just gonna shift our feet so that they're in the opposite direction and our triangle is facing the opposite way now. Save y'all one more flow. And we're just gonna, find some space in our hips, shifting them backwards and forwards, making sure that there's a micro bend in each knee so that no knees are locked. And again, minding the upper body, creating a strong structure for yourself and shifting the back hip back and that front arm forward and creating an extended side angle triangle pose. And back through center. Exhale, reverse triangle, front hip hooks forward. Back arm, hand can go anywhere except for the knee. And back through center. We're going to face side of our mat now. And we're just gonna shift our hips side to side. And with our hands out, as the same way that we had it in our triangle, hinging at the hips, we're just gonna go on forward. Finding a 90-degree angle here. And exhale, forward folds. And we're going to shift our toe heel, our feet just a little bit closer. And here we're gonna do a really weird transition, sorry team, and we'll just twist so that one knee is over the other. Inhale, hands come over heart center, or come over the crown of the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands come overhead. And if it feels good, you can go on forward. You can always try it out. And if it doesn't feel good, coming back up straight. My instructor in Bali always used to say, if you're feeling frustrated because of your hips right now, it's because of your hips and not because of you. And we're going to, if it's accessible to you, doing the same transition that got us here on the other side now, and if not, just meeting us on the other side. We want to make sure we're preserving our body more than anything else. And in these poses that are, we're just going to do a little bit of breath work. And in these poses that are a little bit more difficult or a little bit more frustrating, I always like to encourage my students to find as much muscle relaxation as they can in these poses. So I don't need any tension in my upper back. I don't need any furrowed brows, any clenched jaws, nothing like that. So letting all of that go and just folding on forward. Looking back over my life, spent the most of it tongue-tied. Wish I'd had more time listening to you speak. I'm thinking about every day on my mind. Are you okay, going back through center and twirling once more. Y'all stay where you are. And we'll just find one more forward fold, trying to find any release in the lower back and the hips that we can offer our body before we go into our final cool down, which will consist of a bunch of hip work, because Hips are tight. My hips are tight. All right, inhale, halfway lift. Shifting those feet a little bit closer to one another and coming onto the front of our mat so that our hands frame our front foot. Lifting that front foot up, coming into a plank, and last flow. Inhale, cobra, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lifting that left leg, bending the knee, bringing the left knee behind the left ankle and the left foot behind the left wrist. That's what I meant, wrist. And here you can either go for the back bend, bending that back knee, as long as it's not painful, doesn't cause any compression. And letting all of that go, flattening onto the ground as much as your body can allow for. If you're feeling that this pose is a little bit tricky, you can always place a pillow underneath that hip, or you can just find a child's pose and skip it all together. Again, placing the forehead on the ground will naturally trigger a relaxation in your central nervous system. So if that's accessible to you, you might want to engage in that sort of practice. Two fingers at a time. Keep my head above the hourglass. Wish I could hold time. Listening to the speed of my and inhale, shifting those hands just a little bit closer to the bent leg. And shifting onto that hip that's bent, shifting that leg forward, and then we'll bend the right knee and move that left leg on back and come to a similar variation that we found on the other side. I'm gonna do this on this side so that I'm not lopsided. And flattening out to find our sleeping pigeon. Shifting those hands back to bring the abdominal back up to standing, shifting onto that bent leg's hip, and moving that left leg back on forward. And here we're going to engage in a caterpillar pose. And so for this, I like to move all the skin out of the way of my sit bones. We're going to lengthen up through the sit bones to the tips of the fingers and hinge at the hips. I like to keep a light bend in my knees because my lower back is really tight and sometimes it creates a little bit of pinches in my tailbone. And eventually I like to straighten those legs out, but it takes me a minute. And then playing with what your back likes the most here, you can either find that same halfway lift spine or find a rounded spine. And inhale, coming back up to a 90-degree in those hips. And exhale, this is your last time to engage your core, or you can just go right onto your back. I like to find a little bit of a pointy finger and keeping my scapula close together and coming onto my back. Inhale, bending that right leg in, bringing it in for a bit of a hug, finding some space in those hips. And with the right leg bent, you're going to find your left palm, attach it to your right knee, your left palm, attach it to your right knee, and bring that right knee onto the left side. First and foremost, you want both of your shoulders grounded on the anchored to the ground, and then you want to find your torque in your knee to wring out your spine or your abdominal. I always notice after I have a lot of sugar, this feels some type of way. I've been having a lot of sugar in quarantine, so all good things, all good things. And bringing that right knee in for one final squeeze. And let it go to meet the left. Taking a moment to adjust the hips so that they're a little bit even though they might feel a little bit different. They're spatially on the same plane. And we're going to bend that left knee, bring it into the abdominal, bring it in for a hug, finding a little bit of space in those hips. And your right palm is going to touch to the left knee goes onto the right side, shoulders anchor, torque is in the knee, and your gaze can go on to the left. And bringing that knee back through center, giving it a little bit of a hug. And then letting it go long. Again, evening out those hips spatially on the ground, noticing any differences that might be in them. And then we're going to bend both knees. We're going to lift those hips up. Quick bridge pose. And exhale, slowly letting that go down. And we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and let our knees go wide, reclined butterfly pose. And using your palms to bring those knees back in through center. Soles of the feet are planted on the ground, and you're going to bring those knees in for a bit of a little tight ball squeeze. And let that go, morning stretch. Exhale, allow the body to relax. I'm going to stay here for a few minutes. Savasana is arguably the most important pose of a practice, as it allows the body to feel the work that's just been put into it. Savasana has no aesthetic. Option to stay in Savasana. Option to carry on with me and continue with the rest of your day. Shifting onto the right for energy, left for rest. Into a fetal position. Using the hand that's not on the ground, placing it by your face, and I invite you to keep your eyes closed during this process. Keep the gaze facing inwards. Use your hand to shift your body back up to a comfortable seated position. With the eyes still closed, hands come over heart to the top of your head. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Thumb comes to third eye. To mouth. Base of the throat. And heart. And a prayer to seal in our practice. Namaste. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or DM me. Thanks so much. Have a great day.